What's up, everybody? Welcome to Overwatch HQ Episode 4. A lot to talk about today, starting with the Summer Games, which came out of nowhere, as per the usual. The end of Season 1, and finally, we just have, like, a full page worth of information about Sombra, which we thought wasn't a hero again for a minute, but she totally is. So we'll talk about it. So straight off the bat, the Summer Games are here, which I guess the best feature of is the Lucio Ball, as well as all of these skins that you can unlock.
Sorry, you mean Rocket League?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Okay,
Rocket
Right,
Lucio League ball.
But you're a DJ.
Diet Rocket League.
DJ
Oh,
this
that's
time,
true. That's true. Okay.
And you can jump and you can ride on the wall.
Yeah.
No, it's soccer, just in an arena where you can ride on the walls.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah,
Sure.
3v3? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did a breakout yesterday that was like 6 minutes of the gameplay, and I was like, I could call it soccer in Overwatch, but it's just Rocket League, so I'm going to call it Rocket League in Overwatch.
Yeah.
Just scoring
like-
SEO points left and right.
Yeah.
99% of the pro players I've talked to want Lucio Ball to be what resolves sudden death now
Decide-
instead
yeah.
of anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The deciding factor instead
Yeah.
of the coin toss.
Yeah.
I may be
great.
backing myself into a corner here because I don't have B-roll for this, but there's a great GIF on Reddit of somebody randomly got Widowmaker instead of Lucio, and she was just killing all the Lucios. It was really, really fun. I think that's an unfair advantage.
Might be.
Yeah, hopefully there's B-roll for that. We don't
Yeah,
know.
hopefully we can find that.
But let's talk about it. Lucio Ball, I thought it was super fun. Like, despite it just being a clear Rocket League ripoff or homage, whatever you want to say, I thought it was really fun. I had a really good time. The first game I played, I didn't understand that you could do the wall ride and it would move faster, and those yellow circles on the ground, you can jump higher.
Yeah.
Yep.
And his ult actually like brings the ball into
Sucks the
him.
ball in.
Was
It's a
not
good way- it's a good
immediately
way to
intuitive
save.
to me either, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, what I will say about this, though, is that this is the only Brawl that I've played. I think I've even mentioned this on this show before, but the game is so crazy enough that the Brawls they've had up to this point haven't really done it for me, but a completely different game mode, I'm in.
The only one that interested me was one of the initial ones after the game's launch, where you played as Hanzo or Genji on Hanamura.
Super Shimada Brothers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That being said, I'm not a huge Rocket League fan to begin with, but I do think that this is a super smart play for them to put out to the public. I think it's brilliant on their part.
The thing that it was missing, again, and this is kind of the hook with the Brawls and Hearthstone, is you do one per week, and if you win, you get your loot box or your card pack.
Right.
And so they had the Summer Game loot boxes, which we'll talk about, and the exclusive rewards there. So I thought it would be like a clear motivator to go check out the new Brawl by winning a single Brawl is going to get you another free loot box.
Right.
But they didn't decide to do that.
That's crazy to me. I don't really understand because whenever you have this sort, Blizzard has always historically been good. Look at Hearthstone, for example. Whenever you open up a new expansion or something like that, there's usually a couple of rewards that they throw you right away to encourage you to at least play a little bit. That's not present at all here, other than just grinding for normal loot boxes. I'm kind of surprised at it.
Yeah, I dropped $20, admittedly.
Nice.
And this, I think more so than anything else, this Summer Games thing, which came out of nowhere, awesome. It's revealed to me the monetization plan for long-term for Overwatch.
That's right.
And this is what League of Legends has done, and it's kind of refined. And I mean, there's even some verbiage in there that is just straight ripped from League of Legends. Specifically, the collection being all of the stuff, the 100 skins, or, well, the 100 rewards that you can unlock from playing in this Summer Games thing up until August 22nd, where all of that cuts off, and at that point you would assume it would be unable to unlock it for the rest of time. However, what they said was this collection will be heading back to the vault, which is straight up Riot terminology.
It is.
On August 22nd.
Also Disney terminology.
Yeah, also,
That's right.
Why reinvent the wheel? Riot's got it down. Just, yeah, let's do that.
I'm super happy about this, though, because if those of you who don't know, when you reach level 100, you actually kind of prestige, you get to start over the ranks again, but it also resets the experience back to where it was when you were the first couple of levels. I'm about to prestige again at level 200. This is the perfect time for it.
Yeah.
I
Right,
want
so
those
you'll
sweet,
just be
sweet
breaking
Summer
in
Games.
those Summer Games boxes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm close to my first prestige. So.
Nice.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So when this came out, I whipped out my credit card, and I was like, damn it. I think was just what I was thinking, because you paid $60 up front for the game, and that was kind of the hook was, okay, it's going to be a conventionally monetized game. I was like, that's awesome. I'm going to pay this once. I had yet to buy a pack, and then this came out, and I was like, I have 20 days to unlock all of this stuff, or else it's going to go away. I either have to no-life this, or I'm going to spend some money.
Yeah,
So.
see, I think I've never been a completionist. Especially for characters that
This guy is.
especially like
Unfortunately.
I've admittedly never played a single round as Junkrat. I have no desire to get all of Junkrat's costumes. So this to me is a miss. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to spend that money or play the amount of games that it would need to unlock those costumes in this amount of time.
Is Junkrat that character for you? The one you just never want to play?
Junkrat so much.
Mine's Winston. I think Winston is terrible.
And I have a stupid reason.
I
It's
know
not,
you love Winston.
Winston's so good. What do you got against Harambe?
my rationale behind it is not anything to do with the way he plays or anything. I just don't like his design, so I've
Yeah,
never
they're
played
good.
as Junkrat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
This guy
all the
texting.
money,
This guy texting.
all the money that you didn't spend, I have spent twofold on this so far because I am that completionist. I am that guy who's super OCD about one missing. Like I found out I was missing a mount from a couple years ago that you can't get any more in World of Warcraft, and I almost got legit depressed. It was like, I was so bummed. I was like, "There's no way my collection is ruined. You know, it will forever be marred." But let's talk about the quality of these skins as well as the emotes. I like them a lot. I think that you know, in spite of the fact that this is revealing a bunch about the monetization, and that we're going to get a Christmas one of these, we're going to get a Halloween one of these, we're going to get.
Give me all of them.
I'll buy all the Halloween ones for
care.
sure.
Soviet Union weightlifter Zarya
Yes,
is
exactly.
the
Yeah,
best skin in this entire pack.
I have a crush on
so
Zarya.
good.
Did you notice on the gun, there's actually weights at the bottom, so when she does the weightlift animation.
There's
yeah, and the weights will spin when she does it.
That's awesome.
Oh, man,
Yeah, it's really good.
See, I think the skins in this pack, there's no middle ground. I either really like them a lot, or I think they're really bad. So
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, simplistic.
I have
Yeah.
no issue with the monetization. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people on the internet like, oh, this monetization's the devil. I'm like, nope, give all of it. I will pay for all of it. Bring it out
it's
here.
It's only cosmetic. They're
It's
not
my
charging you
money.
anything
I can
for the
spend it
game.
how I
Yeah.
feel like it. People can drop $60 in a bar like that.
Well, and
Who cares?
considering how much time each of us, especially Kevin,
Yeah.
on this panel have dropped into the
Yes.
game. I mean, I would have spent 5 or 6 games worth of cash on. You know?
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And I
That's how
will
they
be
get
the
us.
person who's admit I've dropped easily $800 into Hearthstone or something like
Oh,
that.
the-
I thought you were gonna say
Oh,
Overwatch.
yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
What's up? No, not into this. Oh, God, no.
League
so
of Legends,
I agree
it's
with
about
you,
that
though.
much for me.
Yeah, as long as you keep it purely cosmetic, you're not influencing the what I can physically unlock to improve myself in the game.
Yep.
I don't care. Charge me for all the
there's none of
cosmetics
that.
you want. I don't
sure.
care.
No,
I'll pay all
on
day,
the
every day.
grand like scheme of things, I think this falls very close to like the Paragon level of monetization. Which, by the way, if you're wondering what that game is, it's Path of Exile. Like it's just all aesthetic and it's an RPG, so you'd think you'd be paying for like stat upgrades. But anyway, I think the kicker for me why this isn't a full hit, why it is a bit of a miss for me, is none of the things that are Summer Games exclusive can be crafted with gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
a huge miss in my mind
like,
as well, yeah.
So I guess
Why am I hoarding gold?
Right. So I'm getting gold from buying these packs or from unlocking these packs, and that's kind of like the universal currency that you can buy anything you want with after the fact. But now I can't use it, even though there's this window of availability.
Yeah.
I think that maybe after the event ends, maybe at that point they can't be crafted, fine. But while the event is happening, I have like 2,000 gold saved up. Why can't I use it?
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
That seems a little bit of a miss to me.
A little greedy, but
But I think on the whole, I am excited to see what they do with events. I think this provides, it's going to provide money for them to continue making content.
Well,
so
now
that's
that,
awesome.
Now that they've already told us that they're willing to do stuff like Lucio Ball, I'm seriously interested in what other little mini games they're going to create out of this engine. I think it's going to be fun.
More so than anything else, that's the most exciting part to me because
Yeah.
it's like I had never even considered that they wouldn't do a standard Overwatch match as part of a brawl.
Right.
So for them to take the formula and turn it on its ear this next however many weeks, it's amazing. Like
Yeah.
it's so super
Yep.
cool.
So also what's happening soon, towards the end of August, before the end of August, is the end of Season 1. So this is the first competitive season. It was a little bit truncated. It was a little bit shorter than the other ones will be. Kyle and I did play some matches together. I'm putting it on my resume that we won 9 of those 10 games. But then after that,
10th one was a good loss.
yeah, I have to say I fell off. And we'll talk about some of the reasons why the psychology didn't necessarily grab us in terms of progression, but it did grab one person on this panel.
Who can
extremely
guess?
hard.
Who could it be?
And I'm going to ask him to just recite his whole experience.
Okay,
About Season 1.
be?
Tell
What do
us
you-
your
what-
story.
what
First
do
of
you
all,
wanna
tell us
know?
your rank, because
I
you're
have,
up there, man.
I have a peak rank of 76, so
Top
I was
500.
I was top 800 players. So I've not
Scrub.
quite cracked top 500. I've not quite cracked it. I don't know when this episode goes out. We won't talk about my yesterday's laddering. I have a little more work to go now. But I have done about, I'd say 95% of my games are solo queue.
Which is
so I hardly ever duo with other people or play as a team or anything like that on a regular basis. I pretty much entirely solo
masochist.
queue. So the competitive ladder to me has been perfect, I have to say. It has completely fulfilled my expectations with 2 exceptions. And that's the way that they distribute ranks at the top end of the game and the way that they reward your experience and progression. So what a lot of the pro players and I have actually found out is that your rating for top 500 is actually dictated by your MMR, not your skill rating. Your skill rating actually chases your MMR as you go along. And that's actually influenced by how well you play a character comparative to the global population playing that character. So there was about a week and a half after McCree was buffed that all the pro players picked up McCree because McCree was junk before that and shot up full rank and a half at a time as they flew to the top of the ladder.
they game the system just the slightest bit.
Yes,
and
and so-
MMR is not displayed anywhere in the game.
That is correct. And so for the secondary issue I talked about, at 76, I would frequently get placed into games where there'd be like me and then a bunch of level 60 players against a team of upper 60s, low 70s. And it was basically on me to carry the rest of the team. Now that's fine, I could do that in some circumstances, but occasionally you just hit groups where that's physically not possible. And that to me was kind of the frustrating part, is the spread of skills that you sometimes get towards the top end of the competitive ladder.
And so the question that actually kind of works with that I was going to ask you is, did your role shift? Because I find when I'm playing, most of the time I like to play offense, but definitely at that level there would be people who are just way better at aiming than I am.
Yeah.
So at that point, do you think it's more beneficial for me to choose a support character? Did your role shift? I know you were playing a ton of Reaper at the start of the season.
That is correct.
Has your main changed because of the context of the people that you're playing with?
Well, it has, but that's only because Diva is so freaking awesome nowadays. No, it really is. Yes, my role did switch. Let's be totally honest. The rank that I'm at right now, I'm playing against Quake pros, Counter-Strike pros, stuff like that.
Sure.
I don't have that aim. I'm fine to admit that. That's totally okay. They're going to kill me on characters like Widow and McCree every single day. But what I have and where my game experience comes from is positioning, knowing strategy, knowing where to be in fights. So I've gravitated actually towards more characters like that because that's my strength at that skill level, not aiming. So I find mostly that I'm playing Lucio, I'm playing a lot of Diva, I'm playing some Reinhardt, Roadhog, I'm playing a bit of Ana and Zen right now, and even a couple off-projectile DPS characters. You're right, it has shifted, but I think I find my place in the meta and what I'm supposed to play, if that makes sense. It's kind of a natural progression.
It totally makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, but at the same time, you wouldn't necessarily pick. Basically, you know, season 2 starts, right? You're doing your placement matches, maybe it's solo queue, and your MMR is not carried over, and you are the person with the absolute best aim. At that point, does your pick go, you know,
No, I'm
towards
Diva
McCree,
only now.
towards a
I'm joking.
Well, her
Diva's
pistol-
really
her pistol,
good. We'll talk
man,
about that later.
damage.
It really
insane.
is, actually. Yes and no. I would find myself picking a character that I know I can carry with, but doesn't necessarily have to be aim. And what I found out in this game is that frequently the DPS characters, while they can carry at times, are actually not the strongest carries at times. A lot of times that's your main tank. A lot of times that's actually a decent support that can get a game-changing ult, like a good Transcendence, a really good sound barrier, or something like that. So the skill cap to me is a little bit different, I guess. Yeah.
Cool. That's exciting for Kyle as a Reinhardt player. He when we were playing, I think that you felt a little bit underappreciated, but like,
I've come to accept as a support player that the DPS players and the damage meter, you know, scrubs, that all they care about is their damage and their DPS and
Damage
their ults.
meter scrubs.
They
Just
totally
say it
are.
right here.
Yeah, I'm looking right at you, dude. And they totally don't appreciate the game-changing shields, the game-changing charges, the game-changing ults. Like, all they care about is the gold medal by kills and the gold medal by damage.
It's not
because
necessarily
those are
that
the
they
most
don't-
important medals.
Well, it's not necessarily that they don't care, they just don't know how to utilize it correctly.
Yeah,
right?
I know, but it's just, I've accepted that role as that being my lot in life. I was a tank in WoW, I was a healer in WoW, I was a healer in Arena, I just accepted
Well, you're
it.
also a tank in real life.
Yes, that's true, I am, yeah, I am IGN's
reflection
Minister
of
of
yourself.
Defense.
So you know how everyone kind of talks about Elo Hell in various different games and stuff like that to work your way up? So I found some very interesting things on my way in progressing through Elo Hell here. So the best ranks to grind in are the 60s, believe it or not. The 50s suck and the 70s suck. 50s, everyone kind of thinks they're good, but they're not, unfortunately. They need to work as a team and continue to build their skill and stuff like that. 60s, you're pretty good, but you know your limitations. And so a lot of those people are working as a team, trying out new characters, working on skill. 70s, you hit egos, and
Yeah.
that's a fun one. When you get the guy who's like, I only play Genji because I'm top 30 Genji player in the world, but it doesn't
think I
work,
know
and they
that
don't swap.
We've all
like,
played with
just-
them.
So 70s are actually pretty bad.
We need
So,
a tank, we need
yeah.
a tank. You've been Hanzo every round of this game.
Yes.
Play a tank. No, I'm the best Hanzo ever. You're not on fire.
60s are the sweet spot, though, I found out. So there you go.
I have a bit of good
good
news
to
for
know.
you, Kevin.
Yes.
We were talking yesterday, and we were talking about, you know, the rest of your grind, because you are working towards, I mean, you're having a great time. You've already had your reward the whole time. It's been a blast for you.
Yes.
But also the animated spray. That's like the big
It
prestigious
was
thing.
2 games away. No.
And the thing about the animated spray is anytime anybody sprays anything, this Season 1 animated spray, sprayed over it, will always trump them.
yeah.
And you will
This-
just be the greatest
For
player.
life.
Forever.
I
For
need it so
life.
bad. Yeah, I want that spray. That is the OG spray. That will be the best spray. That will be the only one that matters 2 years from now. I want it.
Yeah, I'm season 2 top 500. Doesn't matter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
this
Season
OG
one.
spray.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the top 500, and we were saying that you have to end the season in the top 500. That is not true, actually.
Yes, you're correct.
You only have to be in the top 500 for, the blink of a mind's eye.
Which is what makes it doubly frustrating that because I totally didn't lose 5 ranks last night, by the way. I didn't. I'm not 71 right now.
Glad.
I'm right on the edge of the top. No, now that I know that, because I thought I had to finish the season in the top 500,
So you just have to dip your toes in the pool and it doesn't matter?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's like, that was the best part
So
of
close.
Legend and Hearthstone is you just don't give a crap anymore. You can just do whatever you want. And you can fall to like number 5,000, which equates to like rank 15. You don't care. Like,
right.
You're a legend at that point. So that's exciting to me because I think a big deterrent was there was this huge gap between this dichotomy of like, okay, you do your placement matches or you're in the top 500, which takes your level of dedication, which is insane. The idea of having to end in the top 500 was even more daunting because every single pro player is going to be doing it for like 72 hours until the season ends, but that's not the case anymore. Thankfully, you just hit it. With this new system implemented, you get your spray at the end of the season.
Just a taste.
Just a little taste of the top 500. That's all you need. You don't need the full thing.
I think that's smart because it encourages players like me to at least work towards it.
I agree.
You said
sorry. Sorry, I did a swear on your show.
You said
it's okay.
You said players, and then both Duggan and I just nodded.
That is correct. Yes, indeed. So I do want to comment just very briefly on kind of the state of the game and where it's at right now.
Sure.
So because we mentioned Diva's really good now, and Diva is really good right now. The biggest takeaways that I have right now are that I'm gonna pump myself up and say I was totally right about Soldier 76. Soldier 76 isn't played anymore, just isn't. There is no situation in which you would pick a Soldier 76 over McCree, because McCree is so damn powerful right now. Also, we don't see Pharahs anymore. I nailed that one. We don't see Pharahs. They're just not used anymore. McCree and Zenyatta just take them out. Here's where I was wrong, though.
Not used at your level.
Yes.
Yeah. I
still
see a fair bit of them.
See both
there you go. I guess I am talking more about like
this is high level.
Competitive
This is
esports
completely
meta.
up.
I just want to
watch a
clarify
lot
for
of
the people
tournaments and
listening
stuff
or
like that. Okay, cool. No, that's a good point. Thank you. I was wrong about a couple of characters, though. Zenyatta in particular was the one where I missed the mark the most. I thought that he was going to be very, very good, but specialized, and because his Discord Orb is so powerful now, and it's just so good with his increased health, he's ubiquitous. He's absolutely everywhere. He's in every comp, and Mercy has completely fallen out of top level play.
I've picked him up now, and I almost always, it's like Discord Orb on this person, boom, gone.
Yep,
He's
100% gone.
Thanks for coming out.
So some people have actually complained about his Transcendence. I like it. I think that's in a good spot. I think the only change is Zenyatta right now, knock down that Discord Orb. It's just too much.
I also think the Transcendence has also gotten a lot better because of the kind of almost the death ball comp where it's like you've got your 5 that are rolling in a close proximity to each other, and then your Genji that's roaming. And your Genji takes the healing orb, and then everyone that's nearby has got the 3 tanks, and then the 2 healers, and then your McCree.
Yeah, I think before the buff, there were 2 types of Transcendence. There was one that was for the team, was for team fights, was for let's engage, or maybe let's save this team fight, and then there was, oh my god, I'm being ganked.
Yeah.
And now you can kind of take the I'm being ganked one and roll it into the let's help my team because of that speed buff. So I do think it's pretty big.
So my big takeaways right now, every tank is powerful. Every single tank has a role in the game, and there are several 3-tank comps that you see top teams occasionally play and stuff like that. They're amazing. Zenyatta Lucio is used in every game everywhere. Ana is not that great, but not because she individually is not that great, but because Zenyatta does everything she does, but better, essentially. And when you want burst heal, you got to have him. When you want sustain heal, you got to have Lucio. There's no real room for other supports right now. Similarly, offense is in a weird spot. It's only Genji and McCree at the top level right now, and I think we need to see a big nerf to McCree again.
Which, may bring Soldier back into contention.
Yes.
And that's kind of the weird thing where you fall into this optimal balance. It's a very difficult thing to strive for. But I remember, in World of Warcraft and other games that, it's just this flip-flopping between, okay, there's a slight nerf to this guy, now and I think Soldier and McCree are totally part of that same Venn diagram where, when one becomes slightly better than the other, he is the go-to pick. Maybe the edge given to McCree a little bit just because of his stun grenade.
Absolutely.
But
yeah, that stun grenade is just key. There's so many times that I've been playing where I'm like, nope, okay, gotta go McCree because I need that stun. I need to stop the Tracer, I need to stop the Genji, I need to stop all these people.
Yeah, and they're 2 peas in a pod. So I think it's very difficult to balance characters that are, basically fighting for the same spot on a team.
That's absolutely right.
All right, now is where the show gets really weird.
Let's get crazy.
Because, man, this is a rabbit hole that just goes deep. And before we even start talking about this, I guess I'll intro this segment. Let's talk about Sombra. Sombra is a character that we thought was Ana. Not
so
the
much.
case. No, she is much more elusive and mysterious and awesome. I cannot wait. This is the character that I've been the most excited for, and oh my god, Blizzard has done such an amazing job. They've just really, they believed in the intelligence of their community with these like little hints, and they are amazing. But full disclosure, the credit for all of this stuff is basically crowdsourced. 2,000 users on Reddit. There is a group called the Game Detectives, which has done a ton of work on this stuff. And Sombra is a character that we've seen since pre-beta in some form or another. And basically what I'm going to do is break down the whole legacy, go all the way down the rabbit hole, and end with a release date for the hero, which is actually very soon.
Do that?
So the very first time that we ever saw Sombra, she appeared on a manila folder, the name is Sombra, in Dorado, and that was a pre-beta stream, along with Soldier 76 and Jack Morrison. At that time, it wasn't like officially announced that Jack Morrison was Soldier 76, even though pretty much everybody put it together.
Right.
And then Reaper can also be heard, you can still do this today.
I love this.
On Dorado. He spawns and goes,
"Where's Sombra when you need her?"
Now the reason why that's significant is that is Soldier 76 and Reaper, which were the two figureheads of Overwatch. You know, there's a rift created between the two men, and they kind of clashed, and that clash ended in the destruction of Overwatch, which is shrouded in mystery. A lot of the world thinks that those two characters are dead. Next, players got access to the beta, a little bit farther down the timeline, and you know, there's just trash everywhere on all the maps. And when I say trash, I mean lovingly crafted, awesome things that you can shoot and make fly. And part of that was newspapers that were flying around Dorado that said, "Who is Sombra?" with this picture of this character that looked like somebody out of Silent Hill meets something out of Metal Gear Solid. A really interesting looking character. Now at about the same time on Anubis, there was another folder found with that picture of what turned out to be Anna. And that's where the confusion started. People thought maybe that was Sombra because we didn't really have a name to call that person in the mask, who turned out to be Anna, which is Farrah's mom. Now we are going to the trailers. This is the part where they kind of took the clues out of the game and into the media and literature that they are releasing to their fan base, which is kind of a quintessential part of Overwatch, because that's how you're getting your story. It's kind of this there if you want it, not there if you don't kind of mentality, and that's always been really cool. And I think this is exemplified with Sombra. So the Anna origin story, to further the confusion about Anna being Sombra and maybe one or the other, there are two encoded messages when the screen flashes white. And the first one says, "She who has the information has the power." And that was decoded using a constant key of 23, which, just like Jim Carrey's life, is a very important number to remember for the next few minutes. Jim Carrey, this is his favorite character reveal of all time. So something similar happened at the end of the July 19th developer update. You watch it to the end. After the black, there's a little bit of color bars and static. And knowing Blizzard, that's never a mistake. Redditors and just game enthusiasts everywhere kind of took to the challenge and were able to convert that into a QR code, which when scanned into an iPhone.
I just want to jump in here and say, if you guys saw where that came from, they were like, it was color bars, it was like pass-through filter, then digitized, then had these like code applied to it, then this, to form a series of pattern that when displayed properly formed a QR code. It was not like it was a one-to-one easy process.
For all intents and purposes, that should be impossible to decipher. Kudos to those guys for figuring it out, and that is amazing.
Just goes to show your identity is never safe.
Yikes.
So the QR code, which when read with a phone said translated to in Spanish, that was easy. Now that I have your attention, let's make things more difficult. So that finally brings us to now. This is the Summer Games trailer, and there's a lot. There is a lot. And what's really interesting about this whole thing is it's only the PC trailer. The Xbox trailer has none of this stuff in it, which you can draw your own conclusions there. But the first thing that happens, Tracer blinks, and for a single frame of that, there's a string of code, clear as day. You have to pause it at the perfect, and that is yet to be deciphered. That is being worked on.
But they have figured out, so I'm of course checking in on this thread like every day. They have figured out to this point that it forms like a common style of password unlock code if you had the right code word that you would use on Unix systems and stuff like that. So they've gotten that far. So there is progress being made.
They just need to figure out what that
I have no idea
password
where
is.
they're going for. Yeah, exactly.
By the way, quick sidebar, people say that D4 thing, the D4 in the dice bag for Diablo 4 is crazy. Not after this.
I know.
Sure Diablo 4 is happening after this. So there was that. That's still being deciphered, still being worked on. Maybe it's something that we need to enter password to. This is all way over my head. But so the game detectives discovered something else. At various points in that trailer, there are little symbols and directions in the background when they're showing the skins, which, by the way, the trailer is fully functional. It's not form over function. They're showing all the new content. And they seamlessly work this in there, which is just amazing. But so, for instance, like in the background, you can see the word east next to Mercy, the word southwest, in a hallway behind Bastion, an up arrow behind Torbjorn, the letter C next to Diva. It's all this, who knows? But this is where it gets incredibly interesting and immediately rewarding. In that same trailer, when we're looking at Lucio Ball, there is a single shot of Lucio doing his new highlight intro, and he's kicking a ball, and in the background above the goal there's like this, I don't even know what to call it. It's kind of a mysterious figure, but at the same time, it's like an anomaly.
It's kind of a silhouette. It's weird. It's like
definitely
just kind of
not there by accident.
Right,
And it's
yes.
definitely not something that just kind of happened in the video post-process. It's definitely an in-game asset. And a lot of people, Sombra, by the way, means shadow in Spanish. So a lot of people are thinking, well, she's a hacker.
Right.
She's a stealth character, probably. And that's probably her in the background. And I said I was going to give you a release date for this character. So here we go. The number 23, Jim Carrey. Eat your heart out. That was the key that was used to decipher that very first encryption. If she were to join the Overwatch cast, she would also be the 23rd character.
Yes.
Right.
And the Summer Games event ends on the 22nd.
Dun dun dun.
So my
You're
anticipation.
calling it for the 23rd then.
23rd. But not my idea, by the way. I am just the vessel through which Reddit and all of these people who are coming up with these theories, which so far have been very true and pretty evident, and it's not just all tinfoil hat stuff. Like, they are saying the 23rd. I'm backing them. I believe.
So here's where I'll do the boring part a little bit. I used to be a producer at Blizzard for a while and stuff like that. Now, typical release cadence for Blizzard, and this team is much different than the other ones. We don't know exactly what their plan is going to be. My anticipation is that's when we're going to get concrete information. That's when we're going to find out about the character. I would be shocked if Blizzard is trying to set a precedent of releasing characters this quickly after Anna. I don't
You
think
also
that's
thought Anna
sustainable.
was coming after this season.
That's true. I still maybe this is just knowing one of the teams at Blizzard and how we released characters and how much that took to put out there. I still, though, that would be incredibly ambitious, because think about it. We're looking in 3 years, maybe there being 60 characters in this game. I don't know if that's sustainable necessarily.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Also, I'd like to point out BlizzCon is right around the corner, and
That's
they
true.
announced a Hearthstone expansion is coming on the 11th of August. We just got the Summer Games thing. If we get Sombra, man, they're just going to have
huge
Warcraft
month,
4, they're
yeah.
going to have Diablo 4, they must have World of Warcraft 2 there, because they'll have nothing else to show. So, yeah, I would be surprised, but also, they just drop content with this game, and that is an amazing release cadence. I love it. As a content creator, it freaks me out, because Kyle sends me a Slack message, I'm like, oh my god, it's happening.
Yeah.
And then I run over and I capture all this gameplay, and I make all these videos, and we throw together an episode, but at the same time, it's super exciting as a player. It's just the greatest.
I know. I'm
yeah.
Walking to a meeting, and 4 different people talk to me on the way about this new Overwatch stuff. I pull out my phone and send you a Slack message like, you see the new Overwatch stuff? By the time I'm out of my meeting and back, you're already on a computer making content. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is.
So that's about it. Man, there was a lot of content. And what's so cool about this, and the talking about our own release cadence for a little bit, I really like how we space these episodes out so that they're condensed and there's stuff to talk about. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you like these episodes that have a lot of content to them. If you want more frequent, but maybe less depth to the episode. But anyway, for all things Overwatch, you're already in the right place at Overwatch HQ.